It's been a while since we've had a good opening jingle. Unfortunately, it's the only good part of this game. Howdy, folks! Welcome to M.U.S.C.L.E, Tag Team Match. M.U.S.C.L.E stands for Mutants? No, Multiple Ultimate Space Creatures? I'm looking this up. I'll find it later and I'll put it on screen.
Invasion of the Muscle Things.
This is a game based on an anime, which is based on a manga, but in the US, we never got that anime or manga. So, as far as we were aware, this is based on a series of little plastic figurines that were all the rage in the early 80s.
They've come to drive America nuts.
I wasn't around for that, so you're gonna have to take the internet's word for it. Anywho, let's jump into a match, and I'll tell you more about this. Oh, whoops. So, you may have noticed that the second character I picked was the one that you start off with, which is already not a good sign. Second bad sign is that you can easily just outrun your opponent the entire match. Do one hit and you win. Third bad sign is there's no music here. Just admittedly usable sound effects. They do their job. They're not bad. I've seen worse. Okay, except for that one. That one's awful. That's supposed to be a crowd, but it just comes off as your TV sounding staticky, and I don't think you want to play a game that makes you think your TV is broken. The object of this game is to just run around avoiding your opponent until Meat throws the smash ball into the ring, and then you grab it and use your finisher as many times as possible, and then you end up winning. Unless your opponent ends up grabbing it because the AI cheats, because they know where the ball is going to be at all given times, and this game is broken and I hate it! This game is playable. I mean, it's better than some other games. I can definitely say that. I could potentially see somebody enjoying this if they have more imagination or love for the series than I do. I do like how the more damage you take, the slower you go. That's a little attention to detail. But other than that, you know, it's not great. The thing that's been keeping me sane... Oh, I got that! Boo! But the thing that's been keeping me sane is looking at the crowd, figuring out how the perspective works. Either they're stupidly tiny, or we're like 50 feet in the air. And I don't like either answer. These guys are supposed to be like aliens? This is canonically like a wrestling match for the throne of the planet. It doesn't really matter. If you played this game in the US, you probably had no idea what any of this was, because we got the figures with like none of the backstory. And you may have noticed that he did a finisher there. That was his back throw. That was his special. It's not worth... The original plan was to show you all of the specials, but honestly, it's not worth it. This game's not interesting enough. I don't care enough. You may notice a theme here. It's general apathy. This game cares about as much as I do about it. Sprite works nice, I guess. But, you know, whatever. I should at least introduce you to the fighters, though. And once that's done, I want to tell you about one of the greatest things I've discovered since starting this series. If you get easily offended by war crimes, you might want to stop watching now and not play this game ever. If you aren't easily offended, then keep watching and don't ever play this game either. So, we've got, from left to right, something that's not made clear in the book, the manual, at all. We've got Ashra Man, Muscle Man, known as Kaniku Man, Kaniku Man, I can never pronounce it right, known as Kaniku Man in Japan. We've got Terry Man, his thing is he's British. We've got Ramen Man, who is referred to as Larman Man in the manual because I guess we were afraid of ramen at that point. We've got Robin Mask, like Robin Hood. He's a knight. We've got Buffalo Man, who in the US is known as Terry Bull. It's a pun. Do you get it? It's a little confusing in my mind because we've also got Terry Man. So Terry Man and Terry Bull, it's just whatever. We've got Wars Man. And then we've got the subject of today's hate crime extravaganza, Geronimo. Geronimo was put in the game specifically for the US audiences. He is a Native American stereotype, complete with headband and long hair and questionable finisher. But he's not the reason we're here today. I hate to admit it, but Japan's full of good-meaning casual racism, accidental casual racism, especially in the early 80s, let's be honest. The reason we're here, the reason this game is kind of insane is because Geronimo is secretly Brocken Jr. Brocken Jr. has a deep, dark secret. If you look a little bit closer at him, you can probably see what it is. Yep, Brocken Jr.'s a Nazi. You want to see his finisher? His special is throwing gas clouds. He is a Nazi who throws gas clouds. If you don't see the problem with that, then either you develop this game or you've got some hardcore denial issues you need to work through. The awful thing is, the gas cloud's probably the best special in the game, in my opinion. Maybe Terrible's is better? Oh. That one's pretty cool. But I love the gas cloud. It freezes people in place. It's just very historically insensitive, and like the fact that this is a Japanese game and they're letting you play as a literal Nazi makes it sound like they were almost proud of their past. I don't want to say I don't want to get myself into trouble. Japanese people are not Nazis, you guys. They were just on the wrong side of a war. They made a mistake. It happened. This is also a lot more obvious than it was in, I think it was Sky Destroyer? Where you're playing as a Japanese fighter in World War II, aka a kamikaze pilot. But, like, they don't... That game, it wasn't important. It didn't have any references to being in the Axis. I just don't get even if Brocken Jr. is in the anime, and he probably is, I don't understand why anybody would want a Nazi, a literal Nazi, attributed with their fantasy wrestling anime. Like, it just hurts my head. But that's it. I'm done. This game sucks. Don't play this game. You heard it here first. Hopefully next game's better. Bye and all that jazz.